Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. There is salvation, purchase of love, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, all is at rest. I and my Savior am happy and blessed, watching and waiting, looking above, filled with His goodness, washed in His blood. Well, this is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Praising my Savior all the day long. You may be seated. A few weeks back, I told Tom, I said, Tom, I've heard this great song on the radio. It's brand new. And it sounds just like our church. It sounds like the things that our church is doing and the things our church is working on. And I'm really excited about it. And there's a story behind it. And about a few weeks later, Tom called me and said, hey, Tim, I've heard this new song on the radio. It sounds great. It's a perfect song for our church. Guess what? They're the same song. There's a song by Matthew West that's out right now called Forgiveness. And the song in itself is so beautiful, but the story behind the song is what makes it even more so. First of all, if you have a chance to go on YouTube or whatever and look up Matthew West, Forgiveness, the video was actually shot right down here in the levee. And he was here at Winter Gym. They shot some footage for that. And he's walking along the levee right here in different parts. So you can actually see right here, right by our church. Wish we would have known we would follow him around or something. But the song, he had a contest. And the contest was for everybody to send in their story. Because he was going to be working on a new album. And he was going to take these stories and pick the best stories. And he was going to write a song. And then the whole album would consist of song stories from other people. Well, he happened to get this one letter. And it just changed him. And the letter said that it was from a woman. And she said that I had my 17-year-old daughter was hit by a drunk driver and killed. This was this man's second or third offense. He went to prison for it. And she said that on one particular day, God said, forgive me. And she said this was very difficult, but I made myself forgiving in my heart. God said, that's not good enough. I need you to go to the prison and look the man in the face and forgive him. Now that's a tough thing to do. I don't know that I could do that. Your own child. But this woman found it in her to go to this prison, have this man brought to where she could see him, stood in front of him, and said, I forgive you. And the man looked at her very shocked. He didn't know what to say. He didn't say anything much. They took him back to his cell. She went back home. A few months later, I mean, it may have been up to a year later. I'm not sure the exact time, but she had a knock on her door. When she opened the door, it was this man. And he had tears in his eyes, and he said, when you forgave me, I realized that God could forgive me. And he had spent his time in the Word. He had spent his time with God. And he realized there was forgiveness, even for what had happened in his life. And he said, thank you so much for that. Well, they began to talk. These two people now travel the country together. They've written a book together about forgiveness. They travel the country together and they talk to people that have both been in terrible events in their lives or lost someone or have caused those events. And they get up and they talk together. And she said, we'll never replace the daughter that I lost. But she said, I love him like one of my own children. God needed her to go. Not for her sake, but for his sake. She could have forgiven him at home. God needed her to forgive him. So he knew he could be forgiven. He needed to look her in the eye and see there was forgiveness. So when Matthew West got this song, he said it's impossible not to write this story. And he wrote the song Forgiveness, and it says, show me how to love the unlovable. Show me how to reach the unreachable. That's what our church does. Teach me how to do the impossible. And it's so beautiful, and it's almost perfect for what we try to do here at the church. And I pray that none of us ever have to go through what he went through or what these people went through. They're actually traveling with Matthew West now and telling their story, and he does the song. But today's sermon and what we're talking about is about forgiveness, and this was just perfect. Listen to the words of this and enjoy this song and learn this song. We're going to be doing it all the time. It's just beautiful, beautiful songs by Matthew West called Forgiveness. Everything you had to say a word. Forgiveness. It lies in the face of all your pride. It moves away the man inside. It's always anger's own worst enemy. Even when the jury and the judge say you have a right to hold a grudge, through in your ears says set it free. Even set bridge free. There is no end to what its power can do. So let it go and be amazed at what you see through the eyes of grace. The prisoner that it frees is really you. Forgive me. Forgiveness.